हेलो एवरीवन। सो आज हम लोग जाने वाले हैं एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया में, दैट इज एक्सटर्नैलिटी। सो एक्सटर्नैलिटी इन इकोनॉमिक्स इज अ concept that forms the foundation for understanding where markets fail and what interventions are needed to correct those failures. Let's begin the topic externalities by understanding कि externalities होता क्या है. Okay, what is an externality? Okay, so we'll begin with all of these. So definition को सबसे पहले समझते हैं. Externalities occur when the action of individuals or firms have unintended side effect. जैसे कभी भी बुखार में अगर आप कोई भी दवाई को लेते हो, उसके रैपर पे या वो टैबलेट के स्ट्रिप के ऊपर में लिखा रहता है एक्सपेक्टेड साइड इफेक्ट्स. वैसे ही एक्सटर्नैलिटी इज एन अनइंटेंडेड साइड इफेक्ट ऑन थर्ड पार्टीज who are neither the buyer nor the seller involved in the transaction. Okay, obviously these can be positive as well and negative. ठीक है. A negative externality imposes a cost on others and a positive externality provides a benefit to others. ठीक है. तो नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी एंड पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी को थोड़े डिटेल में समझते हैं. सबसे पहले नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी के बारे में बात करते हैं. सो नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी is an example where these are costs to some other people who are not in the buying and the selling. Okay, these are uncompensated costs that are imposed upon individuals who are not directly involved in the production or the consumption of good. The act of producing or consuming goods sometimes generate costs to those who are not compensated. Examples: automobile exhaust, cigarette smoking, alcohol drinking, pollution, noise, traffic jams are typical negative externalities from everyday life. Okay, so India may an example would be, if you live in Delhi, the crop burning emission or the pollution that you see, especially in the months of November and December, that's a negative externality for all the residents of Delhi NCR. Okay, so people not directly involved in it are suffering respiratory problems and other health issues. तो ये हो रहा है आपके सामने. दैट्स अ नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी. Water pollution by industries in the Ganga River is again a negative externality. Industrial discharge obviously pollutes all the water, impacting all the local people and the farmers who rely on the river for irrigation and drinking water. In Mumbai and other urban areas, constant traffic noise and the use of loud speaker, ये खाली मुंबई में नहीं है, कैलकाटा में भी बहुत है, ड्यूरिंग द फेस्टिवल्स बेसिकली. सो मुंबई में गणपति, कैलकाटा में दुर्गा पूजा, एंड different cities in India have a different time. The largest festival of that city, at that time, speakers are actually put across the city. There's a lot of noise pollution, and especially you get irritated कि कल एग्जाम है एंड स्पीकर में बहुत ही जोर से कोई अच्छा ब्लास्टिंग म्यूजिक बजा रहा है एंड यू आर ट्राइंग टू स्टडी. These are all negative externalities. Now let's talk about positive externalities. Externalities that are benefits to some other people are called positive externalities. Okay, these are unpaid benefits that are received by individuals who are not directly involved in the production or consumption. The act of producing or consuming goods sometimes generates benefit to those. So here few examples: immunizations, that is vaccination, especially the polio vaccination in India, that's absolutely free of cost. Restored historic buildings, education, scientific and technological research. So these are all examples of positive externality. Positive externality में सबसे बड़ा benefit is education programs. When students get an education through a government scheme like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, that is a government incentive scheme where the society would ideally benefit by having a more educated workforce, leading to greater economic growth. So positive externality hai for these kind of education oriented government schemes. Vaccination campaigns during the COVID-19 vaccination drive, those who got vaccinated not only protected themselves but also reduced the spread of the virus, benefiting the entire community as a whole. Technology spillovers, companies like Infosys, TCS invest in employee training and infrastructure, which also benefits local vendors and other businesses by improving the ecosystem. तो अगर कोई Infosys से trained है IT person and you are also running an IT company, you may get an Infosys trained person as your next employee. So that's the positive externality that is happening. Okay. So why do externalities matter? They show us that in some cases, the market price does not reflect the true cost or benefit of producing a good or service. As a result, negative externality lead to overproduction. क्योंकि वो नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी को कॉस्ट में इंक्लूड नहीं किया गया है, यू टेंड टू प्रोड्यूस मोर, and a positive externality leads to underproduction like education and healthcare. Okay, so that's the example. Negative externality lead to market failure. Okay, कैसे? ये देखिए, ये डायग्राम आपको बहुत अच्छे से ये दिखाता है. Look at the supply curve. This is the supply curve without any externality. There is a cost of pollution. तो actual में supply curve should be the purple. ठीक है. So what is happening, because externality को cost में include नहीं किया गया है, the quantity produced in the market is this one, जबकि Q optimum should have been this one. That is why I said it leads to overproduction. Actual में ये होना चाहिए था production, but हो रहा है ये amount. So obviously that's an inefficiency in the system. Positive externality में it is the other way round. Okay, so ये negative externality in supply था, that is in production. ये negative externality in terms of consumption है. Okay, price of alcohol, quantity. Someone is drinking alcohol. So actually, social value of the demand is lower if I take into consideration everyone around. ठीक है? Private value is higher. So obviously, I have the quantity of the market as higher, जबकि quantity optimum should have been lower. This is the negative externality in consumption. Okay, कोई कुछ consume कर रहा है, consumption is leading to negative externality to the society. This is that example. So the slides that you have just seen distinguishes between social and private value. Okay, and social and private cost. This is a very important distinction in economics that needs to be understood very well. Without externality in a comparative market equilibrium, social value is equal to private value and the social cost is equal to the private cost, obviously. So that is what we have when it comes to negative externality example. Okay. Market equilibrium, I have already explained all of this. This is only put in a point format. Attainment of optimal output. So if we internalize that externality, you have to give incentives, or you have to make the private cost or the private production equal to the social cost or the social production. Okay. The government may intervene. Obviously, government intervene करके ही you can attain the Q optimum, not the Q market. Q market तो ऑटोमेटिकली हो रहा है. Q optimum अगर आपको obtain करना है तो वो वहां से obtain होगा. ओके. राइट. अब बात करते हैं पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी के बारे में. नाउ लेट्स टेक अ लुक एट this area where the market is producing less than the socially optimal quantity, और ये कैसे होता है. This is a part of positive externality. Take education as an example. A student pursuing higher education at, say, Delhi University benefits from personal knowledge and career opportunities. Okay. However, their education also creates external benefits such as a more skilled workforce and lower crime rates. The private market will only consider the student's personal benefit, ignoring the external benefits to the society. As a result, less education is provided than what would be socially optimal, causing obviously underproduction. Right? तो अब अपने देखते हैं कि कैसा दिखेगा पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी. तो कुछ ऐसा दिखता है. सो देर इज अ पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी इन प्रोडक्शन. द supply curve is lower than the private supply curve. So Q market is lower than the Q optimum. So this is obviously under production. क्या हो रहा है? अंडर प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है. Okay. The market equilibrium quantity is lower than the socially optimal quantity, and obviously that is leading to a dead weight loss. जो नेगेटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी में भी था, पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी में भी डेड वेट लॉस है क्रिएटेड. पॉजिटिव एक्सटर्नैलिटी इन कंजम्पशन, दिस इज व्हाट इज द एग्जांपल ऑफ एजुकेशन. यहां पर था रोबोट का, which is a technological progress. So price of education, obviously the value of education is higher, social value is higher, private value is lower. Okay. Right. So this is again an example where the optimum should have been higher and the market quantity is lower. ठीक है. Now, attainment of the optimal output. How can we move this market to optimum equilibrium where social and private costs and values are equal to one another? Obviously, government intervention is the key. The government can internalize positive externality by subsidizing production. A subsidy means paying the producer to produce more than the equilibrium quantity. तब वो जाकर बढ़ता है. Okay. So, in summary, market inefficiencies arise from two ways: negative externality and positive externality. Negative externality leads to overproduction of goods with external costs like pollution. Positive externality is underproduction of goods with external benefits, like, for example, education. Without intervention, the market equilibrium fails to reflect the true social costs and benefit, leading to inefficiency and a loss of welfare. Okay. So, how can we correct these market failures? That is obviously the government. The government or the private players can intervene but usually the government intervenes by taxes, by subsidies, by tradable permits, which we shall be discussing next. Okay. But before we go on, I hope that each of you have been able to understand how externalities cause market inefficiency. Okay. So now that we have understood that externalities lead to market inefficiencies, let's focus now on the solutions. Government and policy makers intervene through public policies to correct these inefficiencies using tools that either discourage negative externality or encourage the positive ones. Okay, तो सबसे पहला जो अप्रोच है वो है कमांड एंड कंट्रोल पॉलिसीज. ओके, अब ये कमांड एंड कंट्रोल पॉलिसी क्या है? It is where the government directly regulates activities causing externalities. Okay. So, if I talk about command and control policies, it's basically number one, pollution control standards, like the National Green, Tribunal, that's the NGT, sets strict pollution norms for industries. ओके, इट्स अ कमांड एंड कंट्रोल पॉलिसी, जहां पर एक बोर्ड है गवर्नमेंट का जो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट को बोल देता है कि इतना ही पोल्यूशन अलाउड है आपको, इससे ज्यादा करेंगे देन देर आर ह्यूज पेनल्टीज, फैक्ट्री के शटडाउन भी होने की नौबत आ सकती है. ओके, सो an example would be that the Delhi government bans certain diesel vehicles and firecrackers during the Diwali in order to reduce pollution. That's a command and control policy. Okay. Ban on plastic all over India. India implemented single use plastic bans to curb plastic pollution. Okay. This policy forces businesses to switch to eco-friendly alternatives, even if it is increasing the cost. While obviously these regulations are effective, they can sometimes be very rigid and expensive to monitor as well. ठीक है. So ये है कुछ गवर्नमेंट के पॉलिसीज which basically leads to a situation jahan par the government is commanding. Okay, so this is what it is. So the negative or the challenges are, as I said, it can be very rigid, it can be very expensive, administrative measures can be very expensive to monitor. Market players may choose not to apply if the risk of getting caught is small or the penalty is negligible. Total cost to social welfare could be higher than that of the externalities. So these are the negative or the challenges in these command and control policies. Now let's understand few market based policies. Okay, market based policies को देखते हैं. This is that area which is using the power of incentives to achieve the social optimal. Okay, सबसे पहला है corrective taxes. Okay, तो corrective taxation में an example would be that a corrective tax makes the producers or the consumers internalize the external cost. Okay. An example is the tax on the fuel. India imposes excise duties on petrol and diesel, reflecting the environmental cost of the carbon emission. This encourages obviously people to switch to public transport or EVs. Okay. Plastic waste ka tax. Some cities are, yes, in India, imposing a tax on plastic packaging. Okay. This is obviously to discourage its use and to fund the recycling programs. Okay. So that's what is a corrective tax example. It's also often called as Pigovian tax. So I have put it here. Okay. A Pigovian tax sets the price of pollution. Okay. This is the price of pollution. This is the demand for pollution rights. So this Q is together with the demand curve determines the quantity of pollution that is going to happen. Okay, that's called a Pigovian tax. Many economists obviously believe that tradable pollution permits are better than taxes to solve the pollution problem. Okay, so this is a market-based solution. जहां पर the government is actually imposing this as a tax, and automatically we get an optimal quantity of pollution. Okay. Now, the other market based policy can be subsidy for positive externality. Just as taxes discourage harmful activities, subsidies encourage beneficial ones by reducing the cost of production or consumption. Like a very big example in India is the FAME program by the government of India, which is the subsidy for electric vehicles. The FAME India scheme provides subsidies on electric vehicles, promoting cleaner transportation. Second example can be incentives for solar energy installation. Households and companies installing solar panels receive subsidies and tax rebates, reducing the reliance on obviously fossil fuels. Okay. So you can actually see how a tax is shifting the supply curve upward, and how a subsidy will obviously reduce and shift the supply curve below. Okay, so this can be easily seen by the whiteboard if I draw it. I can draw it here also, no worries. So if I use a tax being imposed, the supply curve was earlier this, now it becomes this. Obviously, that is leading to a lower quantity. Okay, so this is the original supply curve. This is the supply curve after the imposition of the tax. Similarly, this supply curve shifts to the right when I have a subsidy. That is, this goes out of the window and the quantity will now increase. Okay, so that's how it works, right? This is the new supply curve. We have already seen how taxes and subsidies react, and how the quantity can be increased in the case of taxes and subsidies. Okay. And obviously, one more effective policy is the use of tradable pollution permits. Okay. The government sets a limit on the pollution levels and issues permits to the firms. So basically, what is the government actually doing? It is fixing the maximum pollution level and then it is issuing permits. Okay. Firms that can reduce the pollution at a lower cost can sell their permits to others, creating a market for pollution rights. Imagine, pollution करने के लिए permit खरीद रहे हैं industrialists. Okay, so an example would be the PAT scheme of the government: perform, achieve, and trade. That's the PAT scheme. So, what is the scheme? The scheme encourages industries to improve energy efficiency. Okay. Companies that achieve targets can trade their surplus energy saving certificates, obviously, with others, making it a win-win situation. So that's the PAT scheme, which is an example of a tradable pollution permit. So can we summarize this entire policy tool? So let's summarize it and put it on the um, screen. If I go back, I can put it here. This will be nice. Okay. Let's try to put it well. So let's do a very quick summary of what we have seen. First policy is the command and control policy. An example would be banning of plastic by the government. Pros are it is direct and absolutely clear. You are not allowed to do this. As simple as that. जैसे स्कूल में बोलते थे ना टीचर कि बात करना मना है इन क्लास. ओके. सो सिमिलरली गवर्नमेंट आपको कमांड कर रहा है कि ये करना मना है. कॉन्स: एक्सपेंसिव टू मॉनिटर एंड इट्स एक्सट्रीमली रिजिड. सो थोड़ा सा अनरेस्ट ये पैदा कर सकता है in the population. Okay. Corrective taxation. Example is the fuel tax. It is efficient and market driven, but obviously, बहुत high tax can face resistance. Okay. Subsidies like the FAME subsidy for EV vehicle encourages positive behavior, but obviously कितना subsidy देगा government, so it can be very expensive for the government. Imagine the government paying 10,000 for every EV vehicle sold. That's a huge expense on the part of the government. Okay. Last but not the least is tradable permits, like the pollution tradable permits that I spoke about. Uh, an example would be the PAT scheme. Flexible, promotes innovation. Cons: requires very strong regulation. Okay. So that is a summary of what we have already seen. So all in all, if I would talk about the success of these policies, it truly depends on the way the policy is designed and how it is implemented. Okay. Taxes and subsidies work well if they are set at the right level. Okay. Tradable permits require a very well functioning market and absolutely clear cut regulations. Otherwise, it will not work. Okay. So ये हो गया government. Now let's go into private solution to externalities. So let's open to private solution to externalities. So in this part, we'll explore how private solutions, such as negotiations between the parties involved, can also address externalities, like how housing societies manage noise pollution within a complex. Okay. Before that, if you have any public policy questions, it will be nice to take it up. हाँ जी, क्या है आपको? क्या है question? Right. Okay. So we'll address it. So when we talk about private solutions, they can also correct externalities. Often individuals or firms directly negotiate that internalizes the external costs. Okay. This is called voluntary agreements. Because प्राइवेट को पढ़ने की क्यों है जरूरत? बिकॉज यूजुअली इकोनॉमिस्ट्स आर एक्चुअली स्कैर्ड ऑफ द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज ऑफ गवर्नमेंट इंटरवेंशन इन ऑर्डर टू करेक्ट एक्सटर्नैलिटीज. दैट इज व्हाई इकोनॉमिस्ट try to find out ways that make the government action unnecessary. वो अपने आप ही हो जाए सेटल, दैट्स द बेस्ट. नाउ प्राइवेट सॉल्यूशंस के कुछ एग्जांपल्स हैं: मॉरल कोड्स, social sanctions, not to put the garbage in front of the neighbor's door. ठीक है? Charitable voluntary organizations, integrating different types of businesses, contracting between the parties. These are a few examples of private solutions to externalities. So let's now take a look at the theory that is behind all this. Now, the theory that is behind all the private solutions is called the Coase theorem. The Coase theorem suggests that if the property rights are clearly defined and the transaction costs are low, private parties can negotiate a mutually beneficial solution to externalities. In simple terms, if people can sit down and talk, they can solve the problem on their own. It's as simple as that. Okay. So, कोस थ्योरम क्या बोलता है? रोनाल्ड कोस यूएस इकोनॉमिस्ट थे एंड he developed the theory of private solutions to externalities. Okay. And this I have already stated, that if the private parties can bargain without cost over the allocation of resources, then the private market can always solve the problem of externalities on their own. Okay. Private bargaining can obviously internalize the external effects, resulting in efficient solutions. Sometimes the private solution approach fails because the transaction costs can be very high. Okay, that is a challenge. Transaction costs are the costs that parties must incur to agree and to follow through on a bargain. Okay, an example of the Coase theorem or a private party is a neighbor's barking dog. Okay, Mehmet has a dog often barking at night, but his neighbor Ice dislikes the noise. Okay, private solution implies that Ice pays Mehmet to stop having a dog. Now, this can only work if two things are there. The negative value of barking is higher for Ice than the positive value of having a dog is for Mehmet. If this is the case, then ho gaya solution. Okay. And secondly, bargaining between Mehmet and Ice is not very tedious and effort consuming. बहुत इमोशनल है ये डिसीजन. इमोशनल डिसीजंस में नॉर्मली टीडियस एंड एफर्ट काफी लगता है, तो वहां पर इट फेल्स, राइट? बिकॉज हैविंग अ डॉग फॉर अ डॉग लवर इज much more positive than the negative value for anyone not having a dog, right? So normally that will work. A solution can only happen if the first 2 points are holding. The negative value point and the bargaining between Mehmet and Ais is not very tedious and effort consuming. अगर ये दोनों valid है, अगर ये दोनों valid है, तब solution आएगा. Okay, so Coase theorem is basically saying that. Right? तो अब हम लोग challenges के बारे में बात करते हैं. Challenges to private solutions. Okay, so let's take a look at challenges. Challenges to private solution में number 1 is high transaction cost. Negotiating solutions can be expensive and time consuming. Example, farmers and factories near the Yamuna River may struggle to negotiate water pollution limits because both the parties have completely conflicting interests. ठीक है. Second challenge to private solution is coordination problem. तो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, यहां पर ही नहीं, एवरीवेयर एल्स, कोऑर्डिनेशन प्रॉब्लम्स. अब many parties are involved, it becomes extremely difficult to reach an agreement. Okay, it becomes extremely difficult to reach an agreement. So high transaction cost तो था ही, coordination के problems also take out a lot. Okay, like an example would be managing air pollution in Delhi requires coordination between multiple people, factories, vehicle owners, local authorities, so many people. Third challenge to private solution is enforcement issues. If an agreement is reached, enforcing that agreement is very difficult without legal support. Like in some cases, residents who promise not to park illegally may still violate the agreement, requiring external enforcement. That is such a big nuisance, especially in India, jahan par the number of cars is exploding. So parking in someone else's space has become so common. Okay, so ये तीन challenges है. अब would you like to know of a real life case of successful private negotiation? If you do, then please raise your hand. किस किस को जानना है रियल लाइफ में प्राइवेट नेगोशिएशन करके सक्सेसफुली एक्सटर्नैलिटी को नेगेट किया गया? सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट. राइट. ओके, great. So we'll get into that. So let me give you an inspiring example where private negotiation worked absolutely beautifully. Okay. The Bishnoi community and the wildlife conservation case, where in Rajasthan, the Bishnoi community protects the wildlife through voluntary efforts. They have successfully negotiated with the local farmers to limit hunting and deforestation to conserve wildlife in their area instead of relying on government intervention or the forest department. The community's moral responsibility drives the conservation efforts. That is so beautiful, right? So I have already explained the different types of private solutions that are there on your screen. Um, Moral codes and social sanctions. Now, let me try to give an example for each of them. Many Indian families avoid wasting food during the weddings because of cultural values, moral code, social sanction. Charitable donation. Companies like the Tata Group fund educational institutions which indirectly benefit the society. Contracts, um, contracting between parties. In industrial parks, for example, firms often negotiate with each other to share the resources, such as a common waste treatment facility in a large industrial park. That's contracting between the parties. And as I have already told you, the private solutions fail in two reasons. One is the transaction cost, and the other is the coordination. So an example where it has failed is managing the pollution levels across India. It requires government intervention, because private parties alone cannot handle the scale of the issue of pollution. Okay. So if I were to summarize, private solutions can sometimes address externalities very effectively, especially when the parties can negotiate and enforce the agreements easily. However, the negotiation becomes too difficult or costly, then the government has to intervene. Okay. So let's just go for a very quick summary of what we have already done in this area of private solutions to externality. We have taken a look at Coase theorem, which is if the transaction costs are low, private parties can mutually negotiate a solution. Private solutions would include moral codes, charitable efforts, and uh, voluntary agreements between the parties. Okay. So now let's move on to a conclusion. And then if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take it up. Okay. So let's wrap up what we have already learned on externality. It's been a while since I have been talking and taking a few questions. So after I summarize, I'm opening the house for a few questions. So we have already taken a look at externalities. Now let's wrap up everything we've learned about it. We've explored how externalities cause market inefficiency and discussed the various public and private solutions in order to address them. Now I'll summarize the key points and compare the effectiveness of these. So, a quick recap of the concepts that we have already covered. In externality, we talked about negative externality, which would cause overproduction, positive externality, which would cause underproduction. Market failure is without any intervention, the market fails to allocate the resources efficiently because external costs and benefits are not reflected in the prices. Public policies would include command and control policies where the government regulations such as pollution limits and plastic bans come into play. Market based policies also we spoke about, the taxes, example the fuel tax, and subsidies, example the FAME subsidies for electric vehicles. Tradable permits like the PAT scheme would be promoting efficient use of resources. Uh, in terms of private solutions, al alongside the public policies, we also took a look at private solutions to externalities. First would be the Coase theorem, where the transaction costs are low. Private negotiation can address externalities. Examples: noise rule in housing societies, the Bishnoi communities, conservation efforts that we spoke about in Rajasthan. Challenges in the private solutions are high transaction cost, coordination difficulties, and enforcement issues, sometimes making private solutions impractical. Okay. Now, why is externality important for you? As economics students, you need to really understand these concepts. Okay. Like, where can you apply these? Number one, you can think about externalities and think about a few policies that you may want to implement if you were in the government. Okay. Think about the effectiveness of policies that government is already implementing, like the carbon tax and the FAME or the EV subsidies. As an economist, it's important for you to understand externalities in order to make business decisions in the future. So in the future, if you manage a company, knowing about externalities helps you align your business, practices with your social goals, right? And as an economist, it's important to understand externality in order to understand your own social responsibility. So understanding these would make you engage in a community driven solution, such as a waste management campaign in your neighborhood. Okay. The ocean cleanup is such a good example of a community driven thing where our oceans are being actually cleaned up by the ocean cleanup project. If you don't actually know about it, please Google it. It's a lovely project. Okay. So externalities obviously teaches us that markets do not always lead to efficient outcomes. To achieve the social optimal, government and as well as private players, we all need to work together. Okay. Public policies help tackle large scale problems, while private solutions work very well in localized settings. So a mix of both is often the best way forward. Okay. So as India develops, addressing externalities will become even more critical to ensure sustainable economic growth. From reducing air pollution in Delhi to promoting education all across India, it is important that all of us do our bit. So that brings us to an end to our discussion on externalities. Okay. So I leave you with a couple of questions which you need to think about in your free time, because as economists, I feel that we need to question each and every chapter. Okay. So I leave you with two important questions. What would be your thoughts on India's current policies addressing pollution or the use of subsidies for EV vehicle? What are your thoughts on it as an economist? Do you think more can be done? Right. So I leave you with these two questions. Thank you so much for your attention. And I hope this session gave you a better understanding of externalities and how they impact the market outcomes. Keep reflecting on these concepts as we explore more real world economic issues in the next few classes. Okay. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for being a part of the session. I'll see you in the next topic very soon. Bye bye.